Hello, good morning. I'll be talking to you about how church has failed the young people, why so many people, especially the youth, they don't go to church, and how church has become a nightmare for them. Jesus was maybe the father and founder of Christianity, but at the same time, what Jesus used to do is fellowship with what we call the nobodies in societies. These are people that were actually, we call them maybe outlaws today. They knew what's up. They knew that the system or the governments were screwing them up. So they would stand up for themselves and said, I will boycott instead of supporting the big pharmaceutical or the government. Maybe I'll make my own. Instead of being a laborer for them, maybe I'll create my own job. Instead of buying their GMO food, maybe I will plant my own food. So these are a lot of the time, these are the people who knew what's up. And most of the time, if you look at society, it's normally the young people. And the young people, one thing about them is that they're seeking for knowledge. They're not like our parents that have been so brainwashed and whooped by maybe the system and the church is so bad where they fear everything. And one thing about these young people, they're growing up awake and knowing what's the real deal. So instead of you telling them, hey, go to church, oh, these young people, their main concern is they want to change the world. And they're not here to just hear what someone is saying. Oh, we're gonna change the world. They're looking for actions. They're not moved by, some pity party saying, "Oh, we're gonna make a difference," when they're not making a difference. So they're watching actions, and they're not letting themselves be fooled like these old people. So that's why a lot of them they don't go to church, and they're tired of going to church to be judged. Most of the people, especially these old people, if you go to church right now, it's full of all these old sick people. It looks almost like a nursing home of people. A lot of them, oh Jesus, oh Jesus. The way they talk is kind of very, very scary. Especially when you're awake, you begin to be like, I don't want to catch this church disease or something. It's almost like a disease they have. Every single person. Oh, my high blood pressure. I'm waiting when Jesus comes. He will heal me. Like they refuse to take responsibility. So the young people, they're very, very aware of all these things, and they're not buying to that anymore. That's why a lot of them, they don't go to church. You know, and as I was saying, Jesus used to spend time with murderers, with prostitutes, with the worst kinds of people. Society, didn't want, thought, oh, these people were rebellious or whatever. The black sheeps of the families. So what happened is Jesus took upon himself and said, I think maybe these are the people who get it. Instead of all these people who proclaim to be, Christians that are more into, lies and hypocrisy, judgmental. So the young people, they see right through that. They don't have time for, a lot of them, they're like, hey, why would I want to spend time sitting in church for someone to just judge me, beat me down, tell me I'm not wearing clean clothes, I didn't brush my teeth, especially, just doing the opposite of what Jesus did. Jesus spent time with the prostitute, with the homeless people, the ones who had no clothes, or he gave them clothes, he fed the people. But you have all these pastors, they're sitting there just milking every single money they can get. To the poor, to the homeless, they take. And they become like thieves or whatever. Deep, they have their hands like Uncle Sam in everyone's pocket, just trying to take, stuff they didn't labor for, heartless, soulless. That's why a lot of young people, they're not going to church anymore because they can see right through that. All those things, church in those days will make you feel like, oh, if you didn't go to church, all these things will happen to you. All this guilty conscience. The people, the young people, they're seeing right through that. So they don't have time for all of this BS anymore. And a lot of them, they're standing strong. They begin to realize that God is within them, and, they don't need a church, to find God. And they don't need a people that is, very deceptive and thieves and, heartless and soulless, who do not even care for the common person in society. And a lot of these young people, since they're looking to change the world, they're looking to change society, whatever, they don't have time. Because one thing about them, their eyes, they're very, very wise. A lot of them are being born with so much wisdom. They're almost wiser than even their parents or whatever. And if you see even some of our parents who go to church, you can see some of the decisions they make. They don't use their own judgment. They don't use their own thinking anymore. They depend on the thinking of either the government or the church or the system or what pastor says or whatever. Even though they're suffering and they're miserable, you can see them, oh God, we're waiting on God. They eat, they're getting fat, their bellies are exploding. Oh God is going to save us. They don't even know, to even take care of themselves. They don't even know every single thing. They don't want to take no responsibility. Didn't Jesus fast? Jesus used to fast. He used to feed the hungry, the homeless. So these pastors, they can't even take a dime out of maybe the offerings they collect from the people and be like, hey, you know what? We're going to give back to these people. We're going to make the world a better place. We're going to, do something for our young people, to inspire them to come to church. A lot of them, they're not even thinking. If you go to church right now, you don't see the young people anymore. A lot of them, they say, oh, church is very, very boring, because you go there and all they do is beat you down, say all these things, you've done that, when Jesus really had compassion. And the biggest problem Jesus ever had was with church people, the pastors, who were using their congregation just as a business to make money. Those are the people Jesus ever had a problem with. If you ever read the Bible, Jesus never had a problem with a prostitute or whatever, because what he did was he had compassion, over those people, the ones they call outlaw, the ones they call, the outcast. Jesus actually understood them because he knew he was here for the sinners, not for the righteous who call themselves righteous. But at the same time, they're like the abominations of the world. They go around, robbing their own people and not even realizing, the effect they're doing. So if you hanging around someone who has no conscience, who has no soul, to even determine what consequence he's doing to his own people, the young people, they're not buying to that anymore, because they're looking at, the action of these people who call themselves men of God, to see if they can prove themselves. But as long as these people don't prove themselves, the young people, they're not drawn to those kinds of monsters that are just here to like steal from them. Okay, if you have any other further questions, please feel free to share, to ask me. Okay, thank you, and see you next time. Bye.